Sono Angelo Moratti, questo è 10 Minutes to Inspire. So George, welcome to this podcast. It's great to finally meet you.
Thank you very
You've
much.
had a life with lots of traveling, meeting interesting people. You're a venture capitalist like me, so it's a pleasure for me to be this podcast with you. So the first question is, what is the experience that best defines you during your career?
As a technologist and as a venture capitalist, it really was my time in the 90s with Intel. I was an investment banker before, working with Nomura in Japan, in the US, West Coast, with technology companies and others. And I had done some deals with Intel, and they asked me to join and head the M&A. There wasn't much M&A. And the second day on the job, Andy Grove asked me to do something. And I thought, I better do that and do a good job. Otherwise, I won't be here very long. And I worked with these legendary people like Andy Grove, Gordon Moore, Les Fadaz, and others in what was a rather small industry at the time. Tech had not painted the world like it was now. And I got to work later on in developing what became Intel Capital. We didn't call it that. Investing around the world, including in Europe, in Asia, in Israel, and other places, South America, building a team, which now still exists. Some of the people we hired are still there. It was very successful. I also invested in companies like Broadcom, Series A, PCCW with Richard Lee in Asia, Trend Micro, also in Asia, antivirus company. And at that time, Intel was a hugely valuable and powerful company. It's more diffused today, but Microsoft, possibly Novell, Cisco hadn't really happened big time, were the kings of that industry. And it was like sitting on the mountain, seeing how the world was arrayed in technology, what the PC demand was, what the DRAM attach rate was, what you needed as far as peripherals in those days, hard disks, which were spinning, not flash disks, and being involved with these great engineers in the world, meeting people like Bill Gates, working on broadband, which we worked on, and we did unbelievable things with the cable modem, with DSL, with 100 base T, and the early video conferencing stuff we developed. I licensed many of the algorithms and worked on that. What is commonplace today are things we all developed in the late 90s, and it took COVID to unleash video conferencing. Nobody was using it before that.
That's interesting. In this lifetime of career, who was the person that most inspired you? Because, we all start a career, basing our future after somebody that initially inspires us.
So it's not going to be who you might think as a technology person. It's La Mia Mama.
Fantastic.
So she basically changed the rules. Coming out of India, Brahmin lady, marrying my father, eloping to London. She taught me business, negotiating, getting people to do things, humor, resilience, rebellion. Can you imagine living in 4 different countries, 6 kids, 5 languages? She really could push. And it wasn't easy being an Indian in the 50s and 60s in the West when she came here, but she wanted to go to America and wanted to see things. And parents got married in England, where I was born. So when somebody tells me something that's too hard, I know it's possible because my mother would push through any barrier. And with a sense of humor, she was really aggressive, really smart. And there are a lot of jokes we still tell about things that she did and sayings that she had, and quite wonderful and quite naughty in a way. And she and I would sit sometimes at night and just joke about various things in different languages too. So that was my mentor.
It is extremely interesting because most entrepreneurs that I meet, they're actually inspired by their mothers. I was actually inspired by my mother, who became the most important journalist in Italy. Is there an image that for you defines innovation today?
Yes, there is an image, and not everyone will like my image, but as someone I know personally and socially, I think of Elon Musk, and I know him and invest in 2 of his companies, at least 2 today. And look what he's done. PayPal, SolarCity, Tesla, The Boring Company, SpaceX, Starlink. I don't use Twitter, so I can't talk about Twitter. He's brilliant. Not everyone agrees with how he does things or what he says, everything, but I know him socially, and that's a lot of fun, actually. So that's the one, that's my poster child. He's no child, but for technology today, of someone comes from South Africa, went to Canada, goes to Caltech, gets these degrees, and then basically changes the game in multiple industries, including space. I mean, NASA uses his rockets now, so quite amazing.
If there's one thing that most of these people, these champions of Silicon Valley, champions of innovation have, is that they love Italy. I mean, actually lately there's been, an influx of amazing, interesting people coming to Milan and then, trying to buy houses, in Tuscany or like that. You're one of them, actually. There's a particular love for this country. Tell me a little bit the story of how you started interacting with this country and with incredible entrepreneurs, like, for example, Federico Marchetti, who started YOOX, and you got introduced to him right in the beginning.
So even before Federico, I had brought Riccardo Zacconi from Esprit to London to be an entrepreneur in residence at Benchmark Capital Europe, now Balderton. And I met him and I was very taken with him. And then he came and we looked at the dating business together in the middle of England. He joined that business. And then with Mel Morris, he started King.com. So fantastic entrepreneurs. I don't look at where somebody's nationality is or where they come from, having worked in China and Israel and India and Brazil and Argentina, all over the world. The entrepreneurs are the same. They have the same passion, the same look in their eyes. I saw that with him. I saw it with Federico when I went with my partner, Mark Evans, to Bologna to see that. And my family has a long association with Italy. My brother is a Renaissance scholar on the lute and has had many albums in Renaissance music. My father came here in the 30s as well, and spoke Italian, my brother as well, taught at Villatati in Firenze, the Harvard School there. So we have a long association, and this country of Da Vinci and Galileo, it can do it in technology. Remember, Italy is a country that does aerospace, it still builds aircraft, one of the few countries in the world that build aircraft, not just assemblies of aircraft, but designs in Tecnam and Piaggio and others are here. So a lot is going on here, and people don't realize it. Of course, it's a beautiful country, nice country to live in, good food, good people, etc., great brain power, and a pretty low cost when you look at the rest of the world, and well connected too. So I'm a big fan. But then I have had success stories. I was chairman of Octo Telematics for 2 years, which changed the face of technology, looking at driving and looking at insurance technologies, basically, started by Fabio Spianchi. Looking at YOOX, we were investors. I'm an investor in Translated. I go to Pipe Campus with Marco Tombetti. And now Hyris, also located in Milano, which really saved a lot of people during COVID with their PCR test in a box, like an espresso machine. You can have 32 tests in 20 minutes. So fantastic things done.
So do you think Italy still has a chance to catch up on innovation and creating, most of all, an ecosystem that allows this country to be at par with other countries like France or England? Because we seem to be behind. We seem to have great individual figures. I'll give an example. Federico Marchetti was originally inspired to do YOOX by Giorgio Armani. So there is a consistent history of great Italian entrepreneurs. But then when they have success, they lack an ecosystem that, doesn't allow them to create, a company that can actually, become leaders in the world. Look at what the French have done in fashion, for example. And so do you think we still have a chance to catch up on that or not?
We have more than a chance. That's why I'm here, having invested in more than 20 countries around the world and being one of the early investors in China. Nobody was there. In India, nobody was there. Israel, I started in 92. Brazil, Argentina. So I think we have to push. We have to raise money. We have to go see entrepreneurs. We're about to do 2 deals in Italy with my colleagues. They're smaller deals, seed deals, very, very technology intensive. My colleague Christina is looking at those deals. And so we have to do seed and we need to do growth deals as well. So there's nothing to hold Italy back except we have to come here. And I think the expertise of foreign venture capitalists like myself are helpful, but the local scene is also growing and thriving. And we're going to have more and more successes. We can do it. And it won't be a leapfrog, but it is just developing Italy. Italy, I view, and people don't like me to say this, is an emerging market, which means we can develop it as an emerging market. And I saw what happened in India when I started going there mid-90s, China in the mid-90s. We can do this. That's why I'm here today.
That's fantastic. And we thank you so much. As an Italian, actually, I thank you for helping us to grow because I also believe I have a great passion for my country, and I believe that there's a lot of room to grow. So I thank you again. This is Tech Emotion, 10 minutes to inspire.
Grazie a lei.